Welcome back, guys. And here we are. The NBA Finals is finally here. And let me just say that these playoffs, they delivered. We've had dominant performances, shocking upsets, game 7 drama, and we're down to the final two teams left standing. And this is a series rematch of the 1999 NBA Finals where Tim Duncan captured his first NBA championship of his Hall of Fame career. But this time, we're in a different era. One team's looking to win for the first time since 1973, and the other is looking to win for the first time since 2013. But with Victor Wembanyama, who's looking to bring a championship back to San Antonio and beginning his own legacy, and another trying to end a drought, I think this NBA Finals is going to be set up to be one of the all-time greats. First, we have the New York Knicks, who have been one of the most dominant teams in the NBA playoffs, reaching their first NBA Finals in my lifetime. And ironically, their toughest challenge came in the first round against the Atlanta Hawks. The Knicks dropped two games. They fell 1-2, and many thought the Knicks were in trouble. But since then, they've been on a roll. Because once they got past Atlanta, they've been all gas, no brakes. And many thought they were going to face off against the Boston Celtics in the second round, but since they somehow blew a 3-1 lead, they ended up facing the Philadelphia 76ers in the second round, which that was easy. They swept them. And then came the Eastern Conference Finals against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, on paper, this should have been a competitive series, but it really wasn't. Remember, the Cavs were one blown 19-point lead away for this being a different series. And I feel like after Cleveland blew that lead, they never recovered. The Knicks took control, never looked back. And many felt now New York has been dominant in this playoffs, like I've already said. But many people felt like their path was pretty favorable once the number one seeded Detroit Pistons and the number two seed Boston Celtics were eliminated in the playoffs. The Knicks had the easiest path to championship glory. Now the question is, can they win a championship? Well, we'll have to talk. Let's talk about the Spurs and see what they bring to the table. And they actually did it. They took out OKC. I shouldn't be too surprised because out of all the teams in the NBA, the Spurs were the only team that consistently gave the Thunder the most problems. Still, taking down the defending champions was easier said than done, but unlike the Knicks, the Spurs actually had to fight and claw their way in the Western Conference Finals, because they didn't they did not complete had a series sweep. Yes, remember in round one they lost a game to the Portland Trailblazers, which I think they lost that game because either Wemby got hurt or he got ejected in one of those games. I can't remember which one it was, but they ended up winning that series in five. Then came the Minnesota Timberwolves, which they will they gave them a good fight until Ant Man got hurt, and then the OKC Thunders, which that will be a future rivalry in in the years to come. Cause the Spurs they found themselves down 3-2, and many people said, "Nah, I think they're done." But they blew out the Thunder in Game 6, and thanks to Chet Holmgren's performance in Game 7, here we are. The Spurs are in the final. And most of it could be credited to Victor Wembanyama, who is the everything to this team. But they've proven that they could win ugly, close games, survive adversity, and they responded when their backs against the wall. While the Knicks into the finals as the fresher team, they haven't played. The Knicks hasn't played in like a week. Spurs, they're entering battle tested. They survived the gauntlet of the West, knocking down the defending champions, and earned their spot to the final. Now my question, who do you think is going to win the final? And to my honest opinion, I think this is going to be a battle. Because there's one thing that's bothering me about this prediction, and that is me saying the Knicks have a chance to win this. I really do think the Knicks have a big chance. Remember, this team is on like a big, long winning streak, and that is nothing to sneeze at. But again, they haven't played in like a week. So rust, I think, could affect them in game one, maybe game two. But here's the thing. I think the Knicks will split the first two games. I think it's going to be 1-1 going back to New York for game three. But I'm not talking about game by game predictions. I'm talking about who do I think is going to win the NBA Finals. And I'm going to roll with the San Antonio Spurs to take the NBA throne. But I am not that confident as I should be about it. And on that note, that completes the NBA Finals predictions. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Gamble safely, and I'll see you next time.